Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grimflayer. Hope you're all doing very well today, and I hope you are ready for, at long last, it's been a long time, it's been over a month, for some Pioneer League play. Haven't been playing the format, not gonna lie, not going to mislead you, so I try to bring you the highest level of expertise possible when I am in my wheelhouse on BG, The Rock, and Modern, and basically the further away from that I get, the less expertise I have, and Pioneer I'm kind of out of the loop, I'm kind of in the dark. Every time I put a little bit of time into it, I end up in a situation where I can't play it again for a while. The holidays have been super busy, but we're just gonna dive right back in. We did have some fun and some great results. In the tournament practice lobby, you might have seen my deck building and playtesting video. That was a lot of fun, but that's no substitute for the real thing, and even that is a couple weeks old now at this point, so I'm just going to show you a couple changes that I made. This was based on your feedback, and also based on me looking at the most recent, and in fact the only, Dark Seasons Past BG Toolbox, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it Dark Seasons. The only recent list of our archetype on MTG Goldfish, so we haven't changed all that much, but I did add a Blast Zone because, number one, this is just a really strong card, and number two, of course, there's a little bit of extra incentive to play things that you can buy back with our core package of Dark's Petition, finding Seasons Past, buying back a bunch of things, including 0-mana things, so lands that sacrifice themselves to do great and useful things like Fabled Passage, Field of Ruin, and now Blast Zone. We have extra incentives to play those. So I've added Blast Zone, we'll see how that plays. I have added a Cast Down as well, just kind of a powerful removal spell that I wasn't playing before, and that's what our deck does. It kind of kills everything that moves, strips them of resources, and then tries to bury them by drawing 4, 5, 6, 7 chosen cards off of Seasons Past. Pretty good times. What else have we done? What else have we changed? Don't know if there's anything else in the main deck. I think the main deck is all as it was for the test games, but we do have a couple of new sideboard cards. Thought Distortion, I have no idea how good this is, but I saw it in the most recent list, and I was like, well, that seems good. I know that Blue-White Control is a deck to beat. Let's try it out. Again, this is kind of a fact-finding mission, as much as anything else. Otherwise, I have added a second copy of Scavenging Ooze, because the card's pretty good, and it does let us side into a not only graveyard hate, but also a more traditional mid-range feel against, like, really low-to-the-ground aggro decks. Scooz is going to do a lot of work there. So, finally, a Nissa Vital Force, so you'll note that the stuff at the extreme top end of the curve, the Ugin, the Garruk, those are gone. I think it's totally viable to play those cards, and it's totally viable also to play the ramp spells. Nissa's Renewal and whatever the 3-mana Nissa's card is that lets you get 2 or 3 basic forests, depending on whether or not you have Spell Mastery. I think those are all fine, but I tested the 3-mana draw basic land ramp spell, didn't end up loving it, and I do think you should be either playing the huge top end that goes even above Seasons Past, and the ramp spells, or neither. That's kind of where my head's at. Again, I am no expert, so you can let me know what you think, but we're just going to have some fun. We're not going to get too wrapped up in the results here, because I think this deck is, it's not really that proven in the meta, and if it is going to succeed while being not that proven, it's probably going to be at the hands of somebody who knows the format inside and out. And that person, my friends, I hate to tell you, it's not me, at least not yet. And also, of course, I think it is a fairly skill-testing deck, so we'll see how I manage, but I'm here to bring you a good time, and I'm here to show you some Pioneer, so I hope you'll stick with me for this league. We have found our first opponent. Let's get straight into it, guys. As we do, we have to thank our newest Patreon supporter, Christian Mayer. Hope I got your name correct, my friend. And Christian is a confidant. Welcome to the fold, my friend. Thank you so much. And of course, as always, thank you. Thank you to all Patreon supporters who do make this content possible. Let's play some Dark Seasons. We've got a one-lander. I think we are supposed to maul basically all one-landers, even though this one's pretty good. Gotta send it back. We're a 25-land deck. We need to hit those land drops. And now we've got a reasonable keep. I think we bottom a land here. We've got 2 4-drops in hand, but we're likely to hit a land in our top 4 cards. So let's keep it. And... I'm going to bottom... Fabled Passage. This is going to let us go Temple of Malady turn 1 and then decay their turn 1 play on our turn 2 if they have one and if we want to. 4th land, do we want that yet or do we want to keep bottoming that? I mean, we're a 25 land deck. Yeah, you know, I could go either way though. Ooh, tough calls already. I'm going to bottom. Opponent grabbing a swamp off of their Fabled Passage. Let's get the other Temple of Malady down, I suppose. I will top that Thoughtseize. Might not be a perfectly great card in their in the matchup. They might be another black-based mid-range deck. They might be Rock or something, but Walking Ballista. Maybe they're green-black Delirium. This could be. But it's something to do that's definitely going to be good to some degree. So that's what we're doing. Thoughtseize you. Sure enough, it is indeed Delirium. So they've got 2 decays and a push. None of that's good against us. Let's just take Ishkana. Not good against us right now anyway. And I'm just going to decay this main phase. I'm pretty comfortable doing that, even though it's not really a risk in any way I can think of to let them untap, just because there's no real reason not to. Anything that we could have decayed that they'll play this turn, we can get with Vraska, right? So... Alright, so... Interesting call here. I kind of want to get Vraska down under the potential... for them having a Thoughtseize of their own. I think I'm going to do that. And even though it's a little non-bowy to start cashing in lands immediately, in this type of matchup, I kind of want to just keep drawing cards, I think, as much as anything else. Okay, another decay. All right. So one option here is to just get Tireless Tracker. We're guaranteeing a 2-for-1 that way. We're also turning on their removal. Another option is to simply get Seasons Past. I think I'm going to do that. We're going to make them find a Thoughtseize before we hit land number 6. And we get to draw 4. That's another reason it was nice to cash in the land. Because it's just going to make our Seasons Past better. Thoughtseize a fine draw here. Decay, decay, push. Let's take a decay. We're going to keep trying to hit our land drop, so not cashing in a land here. So untapped land next turn allows us to alt Vraska and draw 4. That'd be a pretty great turn. Obviously, if we hadn't cashed in Vraska, if we hadn't cashed in a land aggressively with Vraska, we would be guaranteed. We would have already had the 6th land, in fact. Okay, a bit punished, But at the same time, we might be able to just win the game right now, so let's alt. Then we're going to Thoughtseize, take away their Fatal Push, Unless they have something else we must take. Okay. And we get to kill him. Pretty incredible start, not gonna lie. The opponent, you know, I mean, that's the exact problem that I concluded was the issue with like a traditional BG rock deck. Like, they've got all this dead removal in hand, and they're also presenting targets for our removal, while we are marching our way up toward certain win conditions like Vraska Alt or just Seasons Past, burying them in value, right? So, I've never played against Delirium before, so I don't know, as always, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I guess we want to at least consider Ashiok. Hating out the grave and turning off their fetch land seems okay. I don't know if they're playing any other search effects. I think we definitely want Scoozes and Vital Force. Do we want a Noxious Grasp? They play kind of a lot of stuff that's... I don't know. Thinking of like Emrakul, Walking Ballista, anything black, it can't answer, so I'm not sure. We lost our Edict effect. I kind of want an Edict effect against Emrakul, maybe, but... I don't know if I'm going to bring in too much else. I think we're going to trim like a Thoughtseize or two. But I think most of our deck is pretty darn good against what they're up to. I'm going to play the Ashiok, not sure how good it is. Again, you know, this might be where I fall off the rails, guys. This might be where my sideboarding is not up to speed, because I'm just not that familiar with the format. But I'm going to kind of apply my modern knowledge here and take it from there. So we'll lose a Brutality, seems fine. And we got to make one more cut. In a traditional mid-range deck, I'd cut a land, but I don't know if we're ever supposed to cut a land here, really. I'm just going to cut Mastermind's Acquisition because it's slow, and because we have the full 60 that we want here. I guess that's kind of like a way to be pre-sideboarded, so... it's less necessary in a post-side game. That's how I'm seeing that card, but at the same time, it seems totally fine to leave it in. So our hand looks pretty good against their strategy. For sure, we'll keep it. Okay, there would have been an interesting decision in terms of what land to play first, but now that we have Tempo, let's just play that. We don't need land number 6 quite yet. So we're getting good value out of the Scry. And of course, what we want to do here is kill their early plays and make a turn 4 tracker and take it from there. Grim Flayer, my namesake. I don't want to have to kill you, buddy, but I guess I will. Again, with Veil of Summer out of the format, there's probably no special reason to have main phased that. But at the same time, against their deck, I don't suppose there's a real reason not to. So if you see me take lines like that, I'm probably just, A, not getting too cute when I'm not that familiar with the format, and B, just reducing my mental load a little bit. Well, I'm just going to walk back everything I said, because, I mean, if they have mana open, we might as well wait at this point, right? Okay, we're very, very flooded here. Dark Petition, though, a good draw. No instant speed removal from the opponent. You wonder whether they've sided out of a lot of it, or who knows. I mean, if I just assumed they have removal for the tracker, but if they don't, then things are about to get crazy. Nissa who shakes the world. Okay, so it's going to ramp them. It can +1 to make a land, 3/3, Vigilance, Haste. Yeah, not trading with that. And her -8 is lands have indestructible. Put all the forests onto the field. Got it. Got it. Okay. So we can make a land drop, Dark Petition for Murderous Rider or Hero's Downfall and kill Nissa. Guess that's pretty good. They do have a Fatal Push, so that's a bit rough, but at least we got another clue out of it. Let's hope they don't have another Nissa. Alright, cast down, that plays. But we're cracking a clue looking for something else. Alright, Fatal Push. Fatal Push is sufficient incentive for me to not play a tap land here. We're instead just going to hold up push. Okay, they've got a rider of their own. That's not good. Our life total is getting a bit low. I suppose we'll, oh yeah, I was going to say we'll let them tap the land first, but of course that's not applicable with Vigilance. Alright, so we're keeping pace. We are ahead on resources. I think on average we should out-top deck them, but you never know. Aha, Traverse, so that's another reason for Ashiok to be good against the Search and the Delirium, and not entirely unexpected, but again, I don't have the like, instinctive knowledge, the second-hand knowledge. That's just an assumption that I would have made, and worth noting that our Fatal Push there did turn on Traverse. Scrap Heap Scrounger. That card could be a bit annoying, to say the least. Ha ha ha. But we draw Ashiok. Alright, so what's the best way to do this? One, two, three, four. I mean, we can crack a clue first and still do everything, so I suppose that's where we begin. Trophy. Alright, I like it. Okay, so we got rid of another rider, Traverse, QB. And the reason I did all that main was because, of course, we don't want other Traverses to get turned on. They have another Nissa, though. That's clearly their top deck. That's pretty rough. And they do target Ashiok. Fair enough. And then, uh-oh, they got the Scrounger as a follow-up, sure. Yeah, that was an incredible top deck for OP. We draw land. Alright, well, we are priced into trophying Nissa. And we are probably going to lose to the board unless we draw a sweeper right now. Do they ignore Ashiok here? Most likely, but you never know. No, they don't. Alright. This buys us a turn, unless they have a follow-up play. They have a follow-up play. It's only a 3/5, but that's exactly lethal. Let's draw Bantu's Last Reckoning, or a tutor for it. Languish. Languish is pretty good, but it doesn't kill Ishkana. That's very tilting. Nevertheless, the game goes on. Well, pretty close to what we wanted. Ooh, that's so rough. Scrounger giving them 2 types. They have 3 cards in their graveyard, but they have Delirium. And they just got rid of our Ashiok. So opponent really doing it. Opponent really showing us what their deck's all about. Yeah, these are good games so far. They go get Nissa Vastwood Seer. That seems probably unbeatable for us. Real nice value here. A card that we ourselves are running. Okay, I don't mind that they made the Elemental, because we might need to draw a sweeper to live anyway. A lot of our stuff doesn't kill Ishkana. Even so, it'll be a very uphill battle. Don't keep us in suspense, OP. What's their draw step? What's it gonna be? Yeah, Nissa VS, very cool card. I like her a lot. Ashaya, the Awoken World. We draw Abrupt Decay. Okay, well, we can play it out, but we're not gonna beat what they've got going on, are we? Okay, so they found land for turn. Fatal Push off Nissa. Not very good stuff for them. But as mentioned, they're still just going to get us over the line here. They're going to get over the line and get us, rather. I almost just scooped a couple turns ago. I don't know why. I don't know what the holdup here is. I'm sure we have technically some outs, you know. Just don't know what they are. Don't know my own deck well enough. I don't believe Swamp is an out. That'll be a concession from this guy. Okay, good game, you know. I felt actually fairly ahead for a moment there. It's a shame they had Nissa right on curve, because if we didn't have to deal with her right then and there, we could have waited a turn and petitioned for Seasons and then gone to work with that. But we didn't. We didn't have that luxury. So having seen some more stuff, we've seen Scrounger, we've seen Traverse, we've seen Questing Beast. I think all of these things corroborate how we've sideboarded so far. We could bring in Pithing Needle for their Planeswalkers. I don't know if we're supposed to do that. I'm actually a little bit more interested in Noxious Grasp now for sure, having seen QB and Planeswalkers. In fact, I think that's better than Cast Down. That doesn't mean we shouldn't play Cast Down, but I think if we have to take something out, that's a decent one. I also wonder if we should cut one of our life lost draw spells. I don't know if I'm going to play Needle, because Nisu Shakes the World has a good passive, too. I might opt against it. I think only one Languish and not two was pretty much corroborated by what we saw there. I think that's fine. Yeah, and I kind of like leaving in just a couple Thought Seizes, so why don't we just swap out Cast Down? Call it good, I guess. I'll keep... Opponent will mull, that's pretty nice. I actually think we have a relatively high amount of freedom to turn one Thoughtseize here. I don't think we're priced into getting the Malady down right away. Especially with the OP going to 5, I think I'm definitely... Well, they don't really have turn 1 plays, though. So maybe them mulling this low is an incentive for us to play turn 2 Thoughtseize instead. I think we're going to go with that. So let's get our Temple deployed. Ooh. That's a very tempting one. I think I'm going to bottom it just because we kind of need lands in general, plus we don't have green to make this good. But it's a great card, certainly in the matchup. Pretty happy sending it down to the bottom, though, I suppose. I would love to just draw another Temple of Malady or Hissing Quagmire. Those are some of our better draws. Fabled Passage is fine, too. We got the 4th land guaranteed. That's pretty significant. Opponent's got 2 trackers. Or, sorry, excuse me. I thought I saw 2 trackers. They've got Tracker, Traverse, Scrounger, and Ballista. So if we... Like, Tireless Tracker is kind of not... It's the furthest away from being good, the furthest away from being usable. But at the same time, it's their best card against us. I think we're playing for the long game, just taking the Tracker. There are some incentives with our own trackers to not use this yet, but I kind of want to get green online in case I draw another Scooz. That'll be pretty important to have as much green as possible. They drew Flare, sure. Field of Ruin. Interesting. So if the opponent did not, they did draw land. Okay. I was going to say maybe we could be pricing them into traversing for a land, but nope, they drew a land. Vraska is not very good against Scrounger. So I think we're just casting Rider, which I think is fine. Getting our Quagmire down. Sadly, we don't have Spell Mastery yet off of Dark Petition, but maybe we want to petition for a Scooz anyway. We've got 3 green sources now. Could draw a 4th by the time we're ready to cast a Scooz. This hasn't been a game where we're really setting up for a good Dark Seasons. But it's the beauty of this deck, I suppose, is that there is all kinds of other things to do. And now we're kind of at the opponent's mercy here. I mean, one unknown in hand. They're the ones who are going to kind of set the tempo here. I'm going to take this hit. They might not have, like, a much better play to do than to buy back the Scrounger after a trade, so I don't want to give them that. But if they have, like, a really good 3-drop here, then maybe it would have been better to block. There's no way to know. Okay, Ballista. Opponent hesitating an awful long time considering they only have one black open. Do they have like a fatal push they're considering pinging us to generate revolt? And to get Delirium? Well, guys, while we're waiting on the OP, I would like to direct you to my description where you can see BrianPalmerArt.com. There's a link to his website. That is the channel's first ever sponsor. I'm very grateful for that, very excited about that. And you can use the code GrimflayerMTG during checkout. That is also in the description for 10% off anything you see on BrianPalmerArt.com, which includes tokens, playmats, and commissions. Super cool stuff. If you are at all like me in terms of your preferences and your tastes in art, I think you will love it. So check that out, guys. I appreciate that. It's a win-win-win. You get to style on your opponents, style on your friends, and you get a discount. Brian gets the traffic, and I get a little bit of love from you using my code. So that's how the system works, guys. It's a beautiful thing. Please check that out. And our opponent still has not made a move. I don't know if they must have stepped away. There's nothing that they could be in the tank about, right? For this long. You hate to see it right at the end of a of a 3-game round 1. You know, we know Pioneer matches already kind of take a while. We're playing a super grindy deck. I got optimistic when I just killed them with my first attack in G1. I was like, huh, maybe these games will be quick after all. I don't know. I don't know. Well, it's about 11 minutes on the clock for OP, so I'll make a note to edit this out, perhaps, unless they come back in the near future. In the meantime, I'm going to get up. Look at that. Every time I threaten to do that, literally every time I threaten to do that, they come back. They come back to reality. Okay. So another land is a pretty awful draw. I guess we're just going to petition for a Scooz. At least we drew a forest. That's kind of good with that plan. Okay. So it's kind of what we expected, except it's actually better to sequence that way. Because they deny us the lifelink, makes sense. Alright, we're kind of all in on the Scooz here. Is there anything else we should be getting? I don't think so. I think it's pretty great against everything they do, to be honest. And it's also going to be pretty good at protecting Vraska. Okay, they hit the 4th land. What does that mean for us? Means they will traverse for a basic land, but now their other traverse, if they have one. No? Okay. That's kind of what I expected for some reason. Who knows? Maybe they're just flooded and they're just getting cards out of the hand. But there's one unknown plus a basic forest. We draw Read the Bones. Okay, we're going to do some work on the opponent's graveyard in their upkeep. Just going to eat all the creatures here. We're reducing Delirium pretty significantly that way. We're making the Ooze bigger, we're gaining life, we're taking away Scrounger fuel. That's the play. So we just gained 5 life. We just recouped a lot of lost life. Feels good. What do they have here, Nissa? Yep. Alright. Fatal Push right here would be nice, but that's not what we've got. Vraska's going to be fine here, but really want to cleanly deal with her whole board if I can this upcoming turn, so we've got to draw something else good to make that happen. Hissing Quagmire, not going to cut it. Annoyingly, Vraska cannot answer Blooming Marsh either. And we also cannot attack well with Rider. So I guess we should read the bones first. Maybe we'll find something better than Vraska. I mean, Tireless Tracker is pretty good. Let's bottom that. Let's top this. Grasp of Darkness. Sure. So now the opponent's priced into chumping unless they want to let the Nissa go. Or they can trade off, and trading's fine too. They just let her go. Cool. So I'm going to just take away some Delirium gas before they untap. We recouped our life lost as well, which is pretty cool. They found a removal for our Skoos. That's pretty rough. But we've got the second wave of gas in hand, and we have Dark Petition. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we add 3. So we cannot quite cast Seasons Past this turn, but I still think we're supposed to go get it. Anyway, let's attack first. Now with our 3 mana here, I'm actually just going to deploy Tracker. make a clue, and use this floating mana to crack it. Seems really good, and now we're going to draw a bunch of cards off of Seasons Past. Next turn, we've also still got Decay and Vraska in hand. Their Murderous Rider is a bit of a non-bow with Scrap Heap Scrounger. Just like it's a bit of a non-bow, I guess, with our Spell Mastery. It's just a very good card that you include it in these types of decks, even if it's a little non-bowy to some degree, right? Opponent is not attacking. Fatal Push seems good. Opponent might scoop to this. Okay, so we want Fabled Passage. It's the only one. Thoughtseize is the only one. Petition the only one. 2 copies of it. Read the Bones the only one. And then do we want Removal or Ooze? I think we pretty clearly want Ooze. Call that good. We'll make our land drop. We'll make another land drop, another clue. I guess I'll fire off a Thoughtseize here. Take the Nissa. They've still got that Fatal Push in hand. Let's not give them a target for it this turn. So we're just going to say go. Okay, here come the beats. We probably are pressed into a block here. Let's crack a clue, see what's up. Yeah, I'm going to take this block. Then they'll be able to push something. That's fine. We've given them Delirium. That's also fine. Can't just take hits. That's the only way we lose, is getting just, like, cheesed out. And now the way is clear for Scoos to take the game back over. I'm going to eat that before, just for style points. Alright, we could have sequenced a number of different ways there, but this is just obviously a really good way to win. We're just so far ahead, it really doesn't matter that much. Okay, they drew a push. Fair enough. We can always, of course, petition for another Seasons and just bury them. Okay, we drew Seasons. Let's start petition for a way to end the game a little more quickly. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? I'll go get Nissa Vastwoods here. It's not exactly what I said. It's not exactly a way to end the game quickly. And we did already play our land this turn, so it's not ideal, but it's just everything we want to be doing. Like, it's value, and it's a board presence. Again, doesn't matter much. We're just kind of... The opponent's the one who's kind of going through the motions here. There's no way they can really come back. Okay, Questing Beast, that's good. But again, we've just got everything we need. Just make the elemental. We don't need any more advantage. Okay, opponent finally scoops. Cool. So I guess that shows you the need to play fast, because, you know, could have actually taken us a little while to get there if they had just kept making us play it out, but only if they kept drawing removal or things like QB, right? Anyway, 3 very different games there. Kind of hope the other games are quicker, just because I don't want to run out of steam on you guys, but that was an awesome, grindy one. We had the Nissa Alt plus Hissing Quagmire one-shot kill in Game 1. We got kind of run over Game 2, and in Game 3, we went over the top of the opponent. We ground them out. We had a much better late game, and we did our thing. That said, they did their thing too, but Scavenging Ooze really put a stop to that. Pretty cool debut for this variant of Dark Seasons in a league. This is an awkward keep, but I guess it is a keep. Got a little bit of everything going on. Opponent's on mono black aggro, which is actually probably going to be pretty tough for us to beat on the draw with this kind of clunky hand, but we'll see what we can do. We do get to Thoughtseize, and they are on a 2-lander. So one option here is to take Dusk Legion Zealot and hope they, like, never draw the 3rd land. Do we want to do that? Other thing we could do is take Champion of Dusk, but the Sorens are tough to fight through. I think we're in trouble. So I'm going to go for the free win potential of taking the Zealot. Hope they whiff on that land for quite a long time. So now we're in the awkward spot of needing double black and needing green. We need both pretty badly. So we'll see what they do here, but I'm probably priced into getting green. Okay, so opponent did not draw the 3rd land, but they're drawing action. That's okay, as long as we hit the 4th land and it's black for our Languish. We can beat this board pretty easily. And we have. Cool. So let's play the Tomb. And let's hope they just, like, play another small thing. They don't hit the 3rd land. I think we're going to take this hit, because we're definitely languishing next turn. Cool. Your nice casual 3-for-1. And dang, they finally hit the 3rd land. Well, what are you going to do? So they get to put Champion into play. Hero's Downfall, Abrupt Decay. So we don't quite have the mana to do everything we want to do, so let's instead Dark Petition and then Downfall the champion, I guess. Guess we're just going to Dark Petition for the missing land. All right, well, you know, I think our decisions have really paid off so far. We still might not get there. But hey, we're making them cash in a Sorin. It's still probably, yeah, I was going to say, still probably another Champion of Dusk. Pretty annoying. But hey, you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, can we let this live? It's going to get Death Touch and Lifelink. Do we care? It's going to get a counter too. Should we just resolve Seasons Past? That's going to be a draw 5. But it might be a little bit... It's going to be a better Seasons Past if we just Decay and Contempt this turn. It'll be a better Seasons Past next turn. Okay, don't thought seize me, bro. Hardcast Rider. You love to see that. So we want a Seasons before we... Or no, sorry, it doesn't matter. Whatever, we'll just Seasons first. So we get a land, a Thoughtseize, a Decay, Downfall, a Petition, and then do we want Languish or Vraska's Contempt? Probably Vraska's Contempt. Because we don't need more 2-for-1s, we need just things that can answer anything, and the life gain's good. And I think we are thought seizing right here, right now, for sure. Fatal Push, Kalidas, Murderous Rider. I think we might just take the Rider here. Even though they'd probably just run it out, it's fine to take the 2-for-1. Collective Brutality, that can beat their Fatal Push, if we ever need to. So now we've just got a big pile of removal. Are we supposed to Dark Petition for something more proactive, like a Planeswalker? I'm just going to cast it and then figure it out. Seems legit, right? We've got Spell Mastery. We don't need another Dark Seasons loop right now. Do we need Nissa Vastwood Seer? That might be pretty cool. Either that or maybe Tireless Tracker. Ah, darn. Okay, I thought I was going to be safe from the removal with a Collective Brutality after this. Sure, we can put a tutor on the top. And now that we know what else is going on, let's just use our mana right here to decay this. Okay, so that's a little bit rough. I thought the tracker had a really good chance of snowballing the game. Nevertheless, we're very, very far ahead. At this point, I'm going to get another Seasons Past. And then let's just start basically looping our life gain here. Okay, they'll scoop to that. Beautiful. All right, well, I think our sequencing paid off. I think we also got rather lucky in some cases, but this is kind of what our deck is supposed to do. So we can get run over in situations like that, but we didn't. And yeah, hopefully we're favored to win one of these post-side games. I don't know exactly what to expect out of them besides the stuff that we saw and things similar to it. So we'll consider Pithing Needle for Sorin. I think that's probably more important than it was in the previous matchup. A lot of our excess removal is not good against mono black. Like just maybe another Languish. That's probably about it. And then we could play Scoozes as anti-aggro tech, maybe Nissa Vital Force because it's kind of a grindy matchup. I think we're cutting Thought Seizes here, maybe leaving one in. They are an aggro deck, you know, we cannot afford the life loss. To that end, let's cut Sign in Blood and Read the Bones. And that gives us 5 clean outs for 5 clean ins, if you will. Is there anything else we're missing out on? Not that I know of. I mean, if they show us some spicy sidebar tech we're not prepared for, then so be it. Opponent keeping 7. I suppose we keep this as well. It's kind of an underwhelming hand, but it's functional. It's got some removal. All right, so there's actually some significant incentive actually to just play Needle on Sorin right now. I think I'm gonna. Well, let me look up the name to make sure I'm going to get it right. I think it's Sorin Imperious Bloodlord, but I don't want to punt this one. That'd be kind of funny. Yes, it is. Okay. I had a moment where I thought, is that the Black-White War of the Spark one? But that's the Vengeful Bloodlord. But you can see why I was confused with, you know, they're both Bloodlords, right? I'm going to shock in here. This was the downside, of course, is that we'd have to shock in, and we also still haven't deployed our Temple of Malady. But this is a fine enough. Should it be Cast Down, actually? I don't know if Cast Down or Decay is better. I think it would be Cast Down if we didn't have Pithing Needle, but because we do, I'm going to Decay. Not sure, though. Still maybe should be Cast Down, because Cast Down... Neither can kill Kalidas, I guess. Thoughtseize. Courser is definitely a fine draw. I don't know how much removal they're going to have in post-side, but certainly less, you imagine. They lost that game because they had a lot of removal just kind of rotting while we scaled into our late game. And then by the time we started deploying creatures, we were too far ahead. So it's possible that Courser is going to be pretty useful sticking around, gaining life. Can block Mutavault. That said, we're going to get the Temple down here, try to get some true card advantage off of Courser. Abrupt Decay on top. Seems fine. Again, we're soft to Kalidas. Kind of hoping they don't have that, but I don't think we're supposed to bottom removal just in case they do. Ugh. Another Thoughtseize. Really didn't think they were very likely to have it. They take away Cast Down. So sure, that lets the Mutavault get in, but that also must mean they have some way to answer Courser, you imagine? So it's all been pretty punishing for us so far, but the game is young, and we are rewarded for slow rolling Courser for sure. Alright. We're going to shuffle that Quagmire away, but there's no need to let the opponent know about that quite yet. We can do it in response to removal to still get the life gain if we think that matters. Otherwise, we're just concealing info this way. Swift End. Yeah, let's shuffle. Let's gain the life. Okay, another land on top, but it's a utility land, huh? Something. That's something. I'll play it out. Would rather have Field of Ruin here. Okay, they hit the dreaded fourth land. Oh man, they're just having everything we hoped they wouldn't. But at least we can kill Kalitas with this, right? Just very slowly. I'm putting it all the way up to 3. Oh, and we're punished because we immediately draw removal for him. Well, that's okay. Guess we just play out a land and say go. Probably going to be downfalling the Kalitas here. I don't know how many 3-drops they play besides Sorin. Yeah, we're going to go for it. I should have actually done that in attack so they couldn't decide to fire up a Mutavault the second main. Is this just a Champion of Dusk? It sure is. Alright, so they're kind of going over the top of us this game. That was a nice draw, though, not gonna lie. So, what do we do? Kind of high upside. Let's take the high upside play. Scavenging Ooze? That's reasonable. Certainly just going to play it out and see, you know, make them have some stuff, I guess. Probably just having to let Nissa go no matter what. I don't think we're supposed to trade Skoos with Champion of Dusk. Again, they might have more removal left than we really let on. Opponent animates a tapped Mutavault. And then Champion of Dusk is going to draw some more cards. Let's eat a couple creatures, and am I trading here? Oh, man. I don't think I am. I think I'm going to try to make them beat the Skoos. We draw Seasons Past? Okay. Let's cast it. Get a land. Get cast down. I guess just more removal, right? Or do we want Nissa? Let's buy back Nissa. And Mastermind's Acquisition. I don't know what's better there, really. Who's the aggro now? We'll see if this works out. Pretty good turn, though. And Acquisition can definitely get us a lot of interesting things here. The opponent's got a full grip, though. But maybe it's 4 Sorens and a land. Needle on Mutavault's definitely live too. Of course, it can still tap for mana, but if there's a game 3, this could be a reasonable name as well. But Sorin just seems so strong that if you're at all unsure, you're probably supposed to name Sorin. Wow. Animating a Summoning Sick Mutavault. I understood why they animated the tapped one last time. I don't know what this does, using a swamp to animate Summoning Sick. Was that just a misclick, or what? Maybe. Looks like they're turning him sideways. That's kinda sucks, because that means they have a Fatal Push. That means they have a Fatal Push, so going all in on Skoos was a little bit, perhaps, loose. In at least one specific regard. That said, what if they don't? Are we supposed to, like, tutor a Fatal Push right now and make them have it? Nah, because we have Trophy. It's getting complicated, guys. It's getting a little complex here for me. Let's just make this play first. Wow. So that was super aggressive from the opponent. They turned their whole board besides one Mutavault sideways and left just one back to block, and we had the Trophy, and that's that. Now, maybe they felt very far behind. Maybe the rest of their hand wasn't that good, and maybe they felt priced into it. So I'm not saying it was the wrong play, just very aggressive. I really expected that they had a Fatal Push, but hey, power of being proactive, we made them have it. And that was awesome. That was awesome. 2-0 over Mono Black Vampires, Mono Black Aggro, and 2-0 in the league. Pretty good debut for Dark Seasons. Hope you guys are having fun. Hope I'm not doing anything too noobish here. Feel like our playing has been pretty good, but again, my lack of meta knowledge might mean that I have sideboarded incorrectly at times, or certain things have not been on my radar. Who knows? Who knows? Here we go for round number 3. Opponent says, hi, have fun. Good luck, have fun. Ooh. We're kind of in trouble if the opponent doesn't play to the board, but whatever, we'll keep it. Why do I know this name Iriel, however you say it? Is this a, I think this might be somebody I've interacted with in the... yeah, something, Facebook, Discord, something. I think I recognize you, Iriel. Maybe MTG Salvation forums, maybe some combination of this stuff. So we are against Spirits, I guess? We've drawn Thoughtseize. So they're certainly playing to the board. How greedy do we want to get with Bantu's Last Reckoning? That's the only question. I think we're going to make them extend into it, so let's Thoughtseize. Clear the way for any permission, see exactly what they're up to. Reflector Mage, Collected Company. Okay, well, they're not going to extend that much more into it, but taking the Coco's fine with me. So we hope they just draw something that they're compelled to play out main phase here. And then it'll be us versus a Reflector Mage. Yeah. Seems good to me. I mean, granted, this gets them a nice big attack this turn, but... Three mana sweeper is pretty strong. Mastermind's Acquisition. All right. We don't need land number 7. Opponent a little bit flooded too. I think I'm going to Acquisition for a Vraska here. I kind of want to have something that's proactive and something that's a different CMC. So, like, even if we lose, like, she's good if we don't lose her, she's good if we do lose her to buy back with Seasons Past. Of course, casting Masterminds actually gives us a 4-drop to buy back as well, so maybe that wasn't the most necessary thing I've ever done. Okay, opponent just laying them all out on the table. This is great. We're going to push the Phantom. And we get to resolve Seasons Past. Land, Fatal Push, Wrath, Scoop. All right. Iriel knows when to scoop. Definitely the correct play there. If they're priced into running out Reflector Mage, that was their last wind, you know? They're not going to beat a full grip from here. Okay, guys. All right. Looking good. So we're against Bant Company. Again, I don't know specifically what tech to expect, but I know generally what we want to be doing. That would be green-white removal, form of Noxious Grasp. Another Languish seems good. Don't think Cry of the Carnarium's good enough against a Supreme Phantom deck. They've got that Imperial Eagle or whatever it is, the Flying Lord. So probably not. Scooz is definitely not as attractive here as a value piece compared to other matchups that we've seen. Again, I don't really know what else to expect, so I'm probably going to sideboard conservatively with maybe one Ooze. And let's just cut a little bit of pain away. Thoughtseize, Sign in Blood, Read the Bones. We're just seeing some matchups that are a little aggressive for these cards. Then we'll just have some more removal. I don't think anything else is particularly attractive. But I could be wrong. Opponent says I don't understand at all how this deck can be played. Well, I don't know either. I'm just killing all your stuff and drawing 5. Seems good to me. I understand the point, though. You know, it's not a proactive deck, but hey, if your stuff lines up well against the meta, then it seems all right. It's only a 2-lander, but we're on the draw, and it's very powerful. I guess we keep it. Hope to really hit that 3rd land by turn 3. If we do, we should be fine. Turn 1 Mausoleum Wanderer. That's a little scary, but we have land number 3, so that's cool. I don't even know if we want to play Skuzan too. It's making our languish worse, but then again, we've got a lot of spot removal too. Shaper's Sanctuary. Oh no. Oh no, that's awful. What a start from the opponent. Jeez. Okay, so I mean, our Languish isn't going to resolve anytime soon against the double Wanderer, so let's just play Skuz. And this way we have, like, even though their Sanctuary is kind of just outvaluing our spot removal, we do have a upside in the form of just gaining life and getting big with Ooze. But yeah, looks like we're getting curved out on pretty well here. Yeah, I don't see that we have much of a choice than to try to fight through the Sanctuary, at least a little bit. They might cash in a Wanderer here. I guess we're one step closer, kind of, sort of, not really because of the Anthem effect, to casting Languish. Yeah, I think we're just kind of dead here. Abrupt Decay. It's not bad. Another Languish. I'm going to top this. We're not going to cast anything this turn. They might be holding up Queller, or they might just be holding up Collected Company. Rattle Chains. Sure. It's going to make our Languishes a lot worse, but I guess what we have to do... is let that resolve. And then on their end step, try to kill the Phantom, untap, play land, Languish. If they have another Lord, the Wanderer can still beat that. And now we are priced into doing it right now because we're dead otherwise. Or should we just hit the Wanderer itself? Is that better? Saves more life that way. I mean, I don't think it matters much. I think we either stop them here, and then from there it's still pretty much just anyone's guess. Okay, so no Queller being held up. Okay, Disdainful Stroke. GG. Yeah, that was an extremely oppressive curve out from the opponent. Wanderer into Wanderer Sanctuary into a bunch of Lords, Rattle Chains, and then Counter Magic to protect on top of that. That was a tough one. That was a real tough one. So, this is where we wish we had just a little bit more to do. Witch's Vengeance would be good here. Stuff like Bile Blight or Legion's End would have some X for 1 potential. I kind of like how we sided, though, based on that. You know, we want to keep some number of Thoughtseizes in. They have permission. They have Quellers, I'm sure. They have Collected Company. They have Sanctuary that we can take on the play this time if they have it. But now we want Golgari Charm. It can kill X1s. Maybe it should have been anyway, but now it definitely has to come in. Destroying enchantments seems very necessary if they find that card again. So do we cut a Thoughtseize because it is painful? Or do we cut something from the top end that's a little slow? I think I'm cool to cut a Thoughtseize here on the play. It'll be more proactive, more threat-facing. Do we want a second Scooz over maybe something from the top end? Maybe we can cut like Mastermind's Acquisition. Even though it's a non-bow with our sweepers, I think Scooz is decent here. I'll play the second one, why not? Again, not as good as it is against Delirium for sure. Or against the Mono Black, but all right. Well, it is a 2-lander, but it's a pretty good 2-lander. Hit land drops 3 and 4, and we're playing like an amazing removal game, so sure, let's keep. I think post-side there are some 2-landers I would mulligan, but I don't think this is one of them. Alright, we're still lacking lands, and our removal's pretty conditional. They're good spells, but all 3 of the castable ones right now are conditional. Okay. Thought about firing off the Golgari Charm there, but I don't think that's correct. Maybe they'll cast, like, I mean, There's no reason they would cast a Rattle Chains here. Main phase, but you can imagine if they did, it'd be pretty cool, alright? Okay, at the risk of doing nothing with our turn, we're gonna say go, because I think they have a Rattle Chains in hand. That's what I'm reading them for, but we're punished. We're punished, missing the land drop 3 turns in a row. Feels bad. Okay, flash in that Rattle Chains, and we'll 2-for-1 you. Sure enough. Now, this would be amazing if only we had hit the 3rd land. Like, any land at all there would have been amazing. As it is, we're still really, oh my god, like, yes, push is fine, but come on. Come on, deck. Come on, give us a break here. But hey, if the opponent floods, maybe we'll still catch up to them. We can't miss it anymore, though. Opponent's just probably holding up Collected Company now, so we just waste a turn here. We need the land right now. Of course, we don't get it. Okay, I think we're supposed to just hold all of this removal. We are at least drawing good cards. So let's... Okay, before we go to cleanup, the opponent's going to be kind enough to... Oh, okay, they don't play to the board. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, yes, they will. So Ojutai's command buys this back. Okay, and then we're going to kill it. Question is just with what? I guess we just push it here. So we don't have to discard, so that worked out okay for us, but needless to say, we're extraordinarily punished for our keep. There was some concern to cast Grasp of Darkness there, just to be more mana efficient, but really, like... Oh my god. Alright, we gotta main phase something, let's make it this. Okay, right into Queller. I mean, this is what happens when one player draws lands and the other one doesn't. Pretty tilting. 25 land deck. It's not like we kept a 1-lander, right? Man. Okay, well, if we had Bantus in hand, they might be in trouble. Okay, we finally draw the 3rd land. Just hope they're asleep at the wheel here. They're not. What a perfect curve out. What a perfect curve out. Well, you know, if they don't have any permission in hand and we draw a land, we can still win with a Languish. Unless they've got something nutty here. They've got Sheffet Dunes. Oh, I didn't even calculate that into proceedings. Oh, no. It's exactly lethal. Well, good game. I don't think there's anything else we could have done. Opponent will probably use this as confirmation that our deck can't be played, but you know, if we had drawn a 3rd land anytime in the first 5 draw steps, or maybe the 5th one is when we drew it, if we just drew the 3rd land on curve and even got stuck on 3, I bet we win that. Like, bet we win it. So, bad feels, man. Bad feels. Feels bad. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I guess our variance has been pretty fine right up until there, so sure. You hate to lose a game that way, though. I gotta imagine we're reasonably positioned against that deck post-side. It seems like a strong deck. They've definitely got some tools to disrupt us, but we just have such an overwhelming amount of removal. Doesn't help much if you can't cast it, though. And here we go with a 1-lander. Send it back. Ugh. Okay, this is a pretty good 6. Opponent will mull as well. We keep, and we're going to bottom. I mean, you could legitimately argue to bottom a Thoughtseize in case they're an aggro deck, Dark Petition because it's the most expensive, or Languish in case they don't play to the board. I think the smartest thing to do is probably to bottom Petition, that way we have coverage against aggro, and we also have double Thoughtseize, which Thoughtseize is probably our best card in a blind game 1, especially against an opponent who will be taking a mulligan right alongside us. So let's see. Okay, Azorius Charm. Draw a card. Bounce something to the top of the library or lifelink. Censor. Dig through time. We're going to take Dig. I thought about leaving it, though, because we do have a Thoughtseize to cast next turn, but the big risk there, of course, is if they draw something else that we really want to Thoughtseize, right? I guess we're firing it off now. There's some incentive to hold it, though. Okay. We can play around Censor because we know about it, but at the same time, might as well take it because it cycles a little bit more efficiently than their Azorius Charm does. Okay, so our Languish is pretty bad, but hey, we found a threat. Suppose we are just against blue-white control. Respect to the opponent's basics here. Oh no, they drew permission? Or no, they drew opt. They're trying to find permission. Kalitas will resolve, okay. Again, not a very good card in the matchup, overall. An opponent on that dig. But like I said, he's a threat, he's proactive, he's something to do. And they'll verdict him away. Very sad, very sad. Okay, too much removal. I think our matchup here, game 1's probably pretty bad, even though we have a top end that can compete with theirs, so we just got a major wrong half of the deck problem. Alright. Yeah, sure, we'll trophy this guy. Doesn't feel very good. But I think it's correct before they untap. Opponent just churning through that deck. Opt, censor, censor. Whew. They've already seen 3 of those types of cards anyway. Castle Ardenvale, pretty annoying against us. That's a good find. Fairy Hero of Dominaria. Instantly regretting some of my life decisions here. Alright, gotta find an answer right now, otherwise we're pretty dead. Okay. Should I thought about scooping. I'm not gonna scoop yet, but maybe I should. Maybe I really just should. Okay, we can decay that. But we can't beat the big one, so I'm scooping there. It's already been a long league, and I think we are about 0% to win that one. That's all right. I don't know how good this matchup is, but we do have some sideboard tech for it. First and foremost, maybe getting bad cards out of our deck. Don't know exactly what to expect in the way of creatures, but probably going to want to side away from almost all of our creature-only removal. That's kind of the thing that we cannot afford to see much of, if we can help it. So Pithing Needle, Thought Distortion, 2 copies of Duress, Nissa Vital Force are all definites. Scavenging used to increase the threat count and to mess with dig through time. Seems totally reasonable. I guess we're leaving in Decays and Trophies, which is going to be enough creature coverage. So let's try at least to get all creature only removal out. So that would be 4 Fatal Push, 1 Cast Down, 1 Grasp of Darkness, Bantu's Last Reckoning, and Languish. We've got some other kind of bad cards. Kalitas is underwhelming. I guess everything else is pretty good. So 8 cards out. We've got 7 coming in. And do we play Ashiok against their Dig Through Time deck? Or is there something else better to do? Noxious Grasp destroying Planeswalkers is actually very, very fine here. But do we want Ashiok anyway in the stead of one other thing? And if so, what should the other thing be? I don't know. I don't know. I think it really might be Kalitas that we cut. We're upping our threat count by bringing in 2 Skoos. So, oh, are we at... Sorry. Did I miscount? No, sorry. Kalitas out, Ashiok in. There we go. There's our 60. As you can see, I've played this matchup in this format a million times. Know it like the back of my hand. Well, I know that my viewership is mostly modern players. So I wonder how many of you are kind of learning the Pioneer format along with me as I go. I think considering that, and considering the super bad luck we just had last game, it's been okay. Now here's another 2-lander. It's a solid hand, but do we just mulligan a 2-lander based on recent experiences? I like everything in the hand, though, but I'm going to mull it. Okay, this is a good 6. I'm going to put Forest back. Obviously pretty punished if we don't draw the 4th land after bottoming it, but all 3 of these cards are fire in the matchup. I'm going to hold off on cracking the passage until we draw another card. Because we're almost certainly not going to play anything on turn 2 anyway. Like maybe a Skoos we would have run out if we drew it, that's about it. Alright, kind of priced into getting green, I think. My goodness. Missing the land drops yet again. Yet again. I'm going to fix my mana here. Just kind of need to get double black online. Obviously, there are many incentives not to do so. We're just losing to land screw. That's the only time we were really losing in this league so far. Just drawing high curve cards, so punishing. It was definitely not incorrect to bottom the 4th land. We need to play spells too, right? Okay. We drew the 4th land, but it's annoyingly behind curve. Now the opponent's on 4. What do we do? I think we're jamming Tracker. We're just going to go for it. They probably have permission. If not, they probably have a sweeper, but hey. At least we get some value out of it if they do. Nissa Vastwood Seer. I guess we like that. It ensures that we stay slow. It means we're not drawing a land to play Nissa next turn. Like the reason to put her down at the bottom there would have been if they have Verdict this turn, then we can maybe draw an untapped land and resolve Nissa. But this is also a good way to 2-for-1 them while rebuilding from Verdict. So kind of a neat turn. We're holding up Clue. We're hitting our efficiency stride. Just we should be a turn ahead of them, and instead we're a turn behind them. That's the big problem. Because they've got a full grip. They're a control deck. We kind of wanted to stay ahead of them, put the pressure on, all that good stuff. Will they... They will bounce her. Okay, that's another land drop for us if we resolve her, that is. Pithing Needle. Yeah, let's go for it. Absorb. Sure. Well, better than getting our Nissa absorbed, so all we can do is play Pithing Needle. I think we're actually going to name Teferi Hero of Dominaria, because Time Raveler's static effect is still kind of annoying, and I don't think its +1 or -3 are as scary. So, sure. But once again, no land drop here means we fall further behind of the opponent on that front. So opponent, I'm sure, has a few ways to deal with Needle and plenty of other payoffs that are not Teferi, but they play him out. Wow. How interesting. Okay. So now what? We also hit the land. That's awesome. So... what are we playing around? And do we just jam Nissa? This is probably as likely as we're ever going to get to her resolving. No, they have 2 mana permission. Oh, Dovin's Veto. So brutal. Okay. Cool. Hey, we got answers in hand, but yeah, pretty nutty. Pretty gross. Okay. All right, that resolves. So I have reason to believe this will resolve. Just deciding which one to use. I guess this one. We don't want Little Tef bouncing the Needle, drawing another card. We're running pretty low on basics against their Field of Ruin deck that might tax basics in other ways. But hey, Needle doing its work. Noxious Grasp, too. All right. Alright. So why don't we lead here, I guess, just because they know about it. Okay, then we'll try for Vraska. If she resolves, we'll take up cashing in a land. Absorb. Okay. Here comes the Scry 2. These castles are a little bit oppressive to face when you're a mid-range deck, I think. They just got such good value out of it. Bottom. Free Scry 2 off a land. Then they find Cast Out. So we cannot answer the Cast Out yet, but we do at least... Oh god, rest in peace. No, that's so good. We do at least have these answers to Teferi. Well, it's a tough call with Courser, actually. It could be a source of card advantage, but I think I'm going to bottom it. It's just kind of... I don't know. You could really go either way, right? Really go either way with that. Rest in peace. Obviously a huge hoser right now. I suppose either way they were likely to shuffle our decision away here with Field of Ruin, which is fair enough. Okay, opponent flooded, but they've got the filtering of Castle Vantress, and we promptly draw Thoughtseize. Okay, man, these soldiers are holding us off. So right now we're going to lose to Castle Vantress. We're blindly top-decking. They're controlling their top decks. And they probably out-top deck us anyway on average, especially with a Rest in Peace down. Our bombs are no longer bombs. So we need all kinds of help here. We've drawn Duress. I don't think we fire that off yet. I think we're going to wait to fire these discard spells off when we're trying to force some game-winning action through. But these are obviously coming at the exact wrong time. Sure, there were plenty of stages in the mid-game where we could have leveraged a 1-mana discard spell really effectively. Nevertheless, the opponent's doing a lot here, and we're giving them a good game. I don't think I'm responding here. I think we're going to force that removal through. Oh my god, really? Triple discard when we're in top deck mode? Okay, take Azorius Charm. Might as well take away Aether Gust as well, I guess. You know, the Rider beats would be real if they hadn't managed to get the soldiers down. You can't be serious. Literally 4 discard spells in a row. Oh, God. Okay, well, you know, we were meant to show the power of the deck in the opening stages, and then we were just not meant to win from there. That's just how it's gotta be. That's alright. I don't want to give you a false portrayal of the deck, right? Little ridiculous, though, yeah. You have to acknowledge, as a neutral viewer, if you don't have a dog in the fight, you've got to acknowledge how absurd some of this stuff has been. Then we draw land. Just gonna be behind on the board to Narset. Once again, I think we just kind of hold these. So they have Veto and Verdict in hand off of Narset. Dark Petition. Alright, well, duress you. Okay. I guess Thought sees you first. Okay. Try to resolve a Dark Petition, don't even know what we're getting. Alright, we're getting something. We're getting something. They have Supreme Verdict and one unknown. What should we get? What should we get here? So much of our stuff is pretty bad from the Rest in Peace. I guess we need to kind of get a... kind of want to get Tracker and then try to draw land. Thought Distortion is kind of spicy, but the damage has been done. We're behind enough on board. Blast Zone, their permanents are too diverse. Yeah, I don't see much. I'll just get a Tracker and try to draw a land. Read the bones. Okay, I think we need to keep our basic in, so bottom, and we'll top for a guaranteed land to pair with Tracker. Oh my god, I forgot about Narset. Okay, well, we just scryed 2 for 3 mana. That was bad. That was bad. No getting around it. So there's the block that makes sense with a Supreme Verdict in the offing. Yeah, okay. Okay. I just lost. I had very little will to finish this game out. I just lost all will. But we do have Tracker into land guaranteed coming up. What is this, a Sphinx's Rev? Oh, yeah. Alright, whatever. Good enough for me. Tracker into land isn't going to beat draw 7. Gain 7. They're at 34. Yeah. That was miserable. That was miserable. But hey, you know, we had that discard a little bit earlier. We reversed the roles a little bit. We could have stopped the Rest in Peace from coming down, and then maybe that turn where we force through a Dark Petition, maybe we just get Seasons Past, and that's our draw 7, you know what I mean? So I think the matchup's beatable, but it's probably not good, and you're probably going to lose most of your game 1s. That's just total speculation, because again, my first league in this format in over a month, but that is my take. And yeah, I mean, clearly we've had kind of some bad variants with Land Screw the past couple matches, the end of round 3, the beginning of round 4, even through round 4, like we fell behind on the board early because we missed a land drop even there in game 2. So yeah, I think the matchup's doable, right? I think the matchup's doable, but probably not one you want to see. And the other thing, though, is you can certainly tech a little bit more for it than I am. I think we've got some reasonable tools, but you might hedge with like 1 or 2 extra cards and or a main deck that's a little less spot removal heavy. You could even do something as simple as just like playing more Assassin's Trophies and fewer cast down Grasp of Darkness type 1 of tech. Obviously that has downsides in other ways, but that just means you've got fewer dead cards against the control deck, so something to think about, right? But we're still in the exploratory stages of this archetype. I'm not going to be the one who solves it 100%. Like I said, just don't have the reps in the format, but we're still doing pretty well. I'm still happy just with those first 2 rounds. However the rest of the league goes is how it goes. But we'll take it. And we're coming here to the 5th and final round. And here we are. All right. It's a hand with awkward mana, but I suppose it's a keep. Got all that cheap 1 mana interaction. Opponent shocking, then passing. Okay, so obviously we need the 4th land to function in the early to mid game in this deck generally, and because we have all the stuff in hand, another land, specifically a black one, is going to be pretty much one of our better draws, I'd say. Against another control deck, it appears with Opt into Castle Vantress. Not what we want to see. Not very fun for mid-range in any format, is it, right? I guess we play around Censor by running out a land first. But once again, we're drawing the high curve stuff instead of the lands we need. We still have time to remedy that, though. We still have time to keep hitting land drops. They have a 3rd land, they have 2 Censors, Dig Through Time, Torrential Gearhulk, Fatal Push. Alright, well, we're clearly just going to get Dig and Gearhulk out of their hand. Suppose we'll take Dig now. And they did have the Censors, so I'm glad we did that. Sequencing, that is for sure, my friends. That is for sure. Here comes Temple of Deceit. Their other Censor is preventing us from going field their Castle Vantress and then Thoughtseize them off the swamp, which would fix our own mana a bit and also take care of their utility land. That would be a nice play, but sadly we can't do it. And sadly we missed the land drop yet again. So, I mean, I guess we just Thoughtseize and hope we draw it next turn, so that we can get Nissa in under the Censor. Yep, gotta take these big payoffs. I don't see any way around that. We're certainly not ending the game before they're online. Okay, untapped land, please. We did it. We did it. Just in time. Just when it was about to be very bad not to have done it. Uh-oh. What's the opponent flashing in or doing on the end step here? They can't scry yet. Oh, they found a Dig Through Time? Okay. Well, that's a hell of a last of the only unknown in hand. With exactly enough mana to do it. Exactly enough cards in the graveyard to do it. They didn't even really try to enable that with this Censor either, did they? Unless I missed them censoring it. No, I don't think they did. Or cycling it, rather. Well, alright. Starting to feel like our position was okay despite kind of a medium hand, but this is going to change a great deal. That said, a lot of what's in their hand is kind of medium at the moment too. I imagine that this is more of like a halfway point between mid-range and control that we're against, so it's probably a better matchup for us than blue-white control, but maybe tougher than like the Delirium deck. I'd really like to win game 1. So our hand's all the reactive stuff. Okay, that's the cycle land. You search for Escanta. Don't like to see that. I think we have to trophy it. We're going to lose our Nissa that way. But, like, we can't let that thing go unchecked. It's just so good against us in so many ways. Even just filtering the top deck, even though we can answer it with field. Yeah. Yeah, what are you going to do? I guess we're going to draw step field their castle. Or we'll just wait till the end step. I guess that's fine too. Okay, so they do get some scry value out of it. That was one reason to have done it more aggressively earlier, but then that would have changed everything. You know, maybe they would have drawn something more proactive or whatever. I just wish that we had something great to slam right now while they're tapped out, but we just don't. Just got our reactive cards in hand. All right. Yeah, some of these blue decks have way too much top-end draw power for us to realistically win this type of really dirtily top deck war. Like, if we're kind of doing our thing and also both players are somewhat top deck dependent, I think we have a chance, but if we're just playing draw go with them, obviously that's that's a lot of trouble. That's a lot of trouble that puts us in. So the good news is they've already seen 2 of their 4 dig through times. Bad news is they found a planeswalker. They don't buy anything back with her, though. That's awesome. I think I'm going to go for the contempt on the end step here because we just have to hope we're going to draw something useful on our turn. And we do. And we do. Nice. Wow. What a disciplined negate from the opponent. They didn't negate our thing there, but they're negating our thing here. Okay, fair enough. Hey, credit to the OP. Really didn't think they had permission. Obviously, that's super tilting that they do. Especially 2-mana permission. Ugh. And then another Planeswalker? Okay. This must just be a top deck, right? Otherwise, I don't know how much sense their sequencing makes. Grasp of Darkness. Not a good draw. Not a good draw. Gotta try to put this blast zone up to 5. That's what we're doing. And opponent found a Field of Ruin, so that's not even going to be really good enough, but we'll still go for it. All right. Need to draw Seasons Past or something. Just draw freaking Languish. Yeah, I mean, we definitely have a problem game 1 against control decks. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think the problem is as bad as it looks here. Is this another dig through time? Because I'm scooping if it is. I think it is. This is a suspiciously long... Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're done for. We're done for. We got 4 mostly dead cards in hand. Opponent's about to have resolved their 3rd dig. They've got a Jace on 7. Yeah, we're beaten. We're beaten soundly, my friends. So, yeah, as I was saying, I think we definitely have a game 1 deficiency against control, but I don't believe it's as bad as it looks here. But maybe we should still be cleaning up our act a little bit in that regard. But I took a quick glance at Goldfish before I started the video, and it's a lot of aggro decks at some ramp, and it's blue-white control, so I didn't think we would probably run into 2 control matchups here. Nevertheless, we have, and we might want to take that into account in the future. I definitely like a lot of these cards here. Kind of everything that we did before besides Noxious Grasp. I think we're going to play Lost Legacy here, too, against the Dig Through Time deck. Seems good. Otherwise, it's kind of the same plan. Do we want Golgari Charm? Destroy Search for Azcanta, and Regen might be live. We'll consider it. That would be our 10th card that we're bringing in. But we got a lot of bad removal, so Fatal Push, Grasp of Darkness, and the Sweepers are pretty terrible. We could also definitely get rid of Cast Down, although it does kill Gear Hulk. But what if we get rid of Cast Down, get rid of Kalitas again? I kind of like that sideboarding like we did last time. I also think Abrupt Decay is a little bit worse. But then again, it's going to kill Search for Azcanta just like Charm would, so maybe leaving in Decays is fine. I don't know which is better. Maybe we'll diversify with 1 Charm, because if they're not presenting a target, maybe the Regen mode is going to be useful in some capacity. Otherwise, I like it. And I think we're good to go. All right. See what we can do here, guys. See what we can do. Hey, at least we didn't have to play against any big mana decks, right? That's the upside here. That's the upside of our pairings today. The hand is fine. We're going to keep it, and we're also going to turn 1 Duress because we won't need to decay anything when we're on the play on curve. So we have full freedom to go turn 1 Duress, turn 2 Temple of Malady, and take it from there. Okay, opponent with the Maul. Sure, I approve, I like it. Opt or Dig Through Time? Well, since we don't have any follow-up discard, I feel priced into the dig. 1 dig down, 3 to go. I don't really mind making more land drops right now. Seems fine. Do we keep Vraska on top? To me, that's a kind of a 50-50 call, but I think I will. Could easily have seen bottoming her, though. It'd be kind of cool here if they played Liliana. And, like, minused and or even just plussed. Didn't get any value either way. Then we would have our choice of Downfall or Decay into Vraska ticking up. Instead, they play Gifted Aetherborn. I didn't expect that at all. I think we're going to Decay that. Because I think we want Vraska ticking up. Now, it's the same dilemma. Do we cash in a land? I guess with Dark Petition there, we just shouldn't. So we'll just tick her up and force them to find an answer. Always feels bad to risk just getting 1-for-1 with your Planeswalker, right? But so I just want to make sure I track their hand correctly. This swamp is out, and they sure do 1-for-1 us. Feels so bad, but oh boy, Thought Distortion? Okay. So I guess that means we kind of have to Dark Petition for a land here, just to cast that on curve. It's got to be one that enters untapped. I don't think Blast Zone is really worth getting. Let's just make our mana better with a green land, I guess. And we gotta waste this mana here. But I think Thought Distortion is so powerful that we're just supposed to enable it next turn guaranteed. It's possible that we won't catch them with too many, and that's a punishment because we drew the land naturally anyway. But again, I don't think we're supposed to do anything different. It's possible that they won't have all that much gas in hand, but it's still definitely going to be nice here. It's because it gets rid of their graveyard too. That's the thing. It's going to make their dig through times worse. Okay, so I've never resolved this card before. It looks as though we don't have to do any clicking. It's not letting me click, so hopefully we're not about to click through. Okay, good. So, that's fair. I mean, of course we wish they had more value in hand. It's kind of much ado about nothing, really, but it was still the right play to make. But as it turns out, well, what's Sinister Sabotage? I don't even know what this card does. Counter target spell. Okay, so if we had like gone for Seasons Past, it would have just got countered anyway. So, pretty fine. They play their field. Will they field our field to protect their castle? No, they will play Liliana. That's a little annoying, because the only card that we couldn't exile is one they can buy back. Okay, and we just draw something awesome. That's pretty cool. So, let's certainly kick it off there. I guess we're probably supposed to remove this main phase before they untap and draw, so... Sure. Okay, Tracker was an amazing draw. Let's hope they brick for one turn. And now them fielding our field, of course, gets a whole lot worse with tracker around. We gotta have them break. They drew an opt that's probably pretty decent. They'll bottom. And they drew Field of Ruin. Kind of a brick at the moment, although a good card against us overall. Better turn off my auto yields in case they're fielding right now. I think they're considering it. They are. You know, this is totally fine with me. We're now not on the plan of having to somehow beat Castle Vantress. We are now on the plan of just winning the game with Tireless Tracker. Okay, we know their hand is Island, I believe. Just going to shock this in just in case we not draw off our clues. Our life total doesn't seem to matter much. Mastermind's Acquisition. Alright, I think I'm going to assume I tracked their hand correctly. Let's go to attack, so let's hit Lily. Going for that Seasons Past. Okay, opponent still has an island in hand. That's some good news. There's the concession. All right, so that's how you beat control. You trade 1 for 1. They didn't have any way to really mitigate their floods so well. They did have Castle Vantress, but we were forcing them to take other actions. And then we had a couple snowball cards tracker into Seasons Past. There you go. So as you see, we can beat control again. We might want to clean up our game 1 chances against it depending on the meta, but post-side I think it's okay. Okay-ish. Now, as I said, just at first glance, I think this is a little bit easier than blue-white control, but still not an easy matchup per se. So we'll see if we can get there post-side, and maybe I should not just click submit right away. So let's change things up. Maybe, what did we see? We saw that was different. Gifted Etherborn? I don't think we care about that, but maybe that's a reason to play just the 4th Decay over the Golgari Charm. I think that's a fine concession to make to its presence. Otherwise, I think we just run it back. Certainly not going to play Fatal Pushes, having seen what we've seen thus far. Okay, so we're very close. It's pretty much a 50-50 league no matter how this one breaks in terms of overall how it's felt, overall how we've done. But we certainly would prefer to win this, go positive, cash the league, but either way, I think that's about fair given variance. And speaking of variance, do we have to mulligan this hand? Probably. Pretty tilting. Taking a lot of low-land mulligans for a 25-land deck, that I can tell you. But this is a good 6. We're going to keep it. Only question is, what do we bottom it? So I guess wish this was our 7, right? Just really wish this was our 7. They're all good cards. Pretty tempted to bottom a Thoughtseize. I'm also, though, tempted to bottom this Fabled Passage and just hope that we'll naturally draw lands, plus with our Sign in Blood. I think we're going to do it. We're going for it. Slightly higher risk, but I think on the draw and having mulliganed, it's fine to take a slightly, and I do emphasize slightly higher risk line, because really this shouldn't be an issue for us on average, but we'll see how it goes, all right? We'll see how it all goes. We promptly draw a 5-drop spell, not what we want to see. Thoughtseize you. They got a 2-lander as well. We'll see who gets punished for the 2-lander. Ultimate Price, Torrential Gearhulk, Languish, Jace, and Censor. I'm going to take the Censor because I want to resolve Sign in Blood next turn, and because I also want to strand them on 2 lands if at all possible. Now, granted, they couldn't cast the Censor unless they did this, which is they drew the 3rd land immediately. So that's a little bit rough, but you know what? We are signing in blood and really hoping we get the same treatment as our opponent. We need to hit these land drops. Oh my god. Oh my god. You couldn't make it up. That's alright, these are good cards. If we just draw the 3rd land now, it's all good. And we did. Sure, fair enough. We can't jam Nissa, but we can still do other things, so well, we begin with a Duress, I guess. Okay, so they drew a Gearhulk. Hello, the top end is crazy over there. Guess we're going to take the Jace. Guess take the Jace and the Gearhulk and leave them with a bunch of 1-for-1s. So they need to draw some 2-for-1s, and they also need to hit land drops. So we've put ourselves in a pretty good position overall. Obviously, them drawing permission would be pretty reasonable as well, all things considered. If we draw a land for a turn, we can just lead on Thoughtseize. Okay, now we don't have to, but we still can if we want to win through the ultimate prize. Ultimate price, rather. I don't think we do. I think we're just going to make our land drop this turn. And they can kill her. I think that's fine. Maybe they'd... It looks like they'd prefer to Languish or something. Our life total is getting ridiculously low. We're going to cast all 4 Thoughtseizes this game. But it's a good matchup to be doing that, I suppose, right? Okay, opponent just letting us keep her around, huh? I guess Ashiok's a fine draw. Again, we still need to hit lands, but... Ultimate Liliana, the Last Hope, huh? Interesting that they didn't play her. That's who we're going to take. I think. Or are we just going to Thoughtseize again this turn? I'm going to play Ashiok this turn because I'm worried about them top-decking a Dig Through time. So let's take Last Hope. Let's jam Ashiok and mill them. Maybe they'll forget to fetch in response. They do. Nice. That's very good. We got rid of the Scarab God, a land, and opt-in and negate. And they hit the 5th land anyway, so they're not really punished for failing to fetch. Duress. Once again, we just can't hit our 5th land on curve. Really sucks. Well, let's activate Ashiok again. We'll cast a Duress. Okay, so we got their Languish. We're definitely well ahead on resources. And that's all. I mean, we've done everything we can do. It's kind of up to our deck to provide us with that 5th land now. And the 6th land eventually. Pithing Needle. Really? Alright. Not doing anything here. Gonna wait on that. They've got a variety of walkers, including maybe some I don't know about. Also wait for a turn where we can, like, Thoughtseize, then Needle, then play a threat or something, forcing all of our action through at once. We could name Fetid Pools with Pithing Needle. There's lots of needle targets going around in the format, that's for sure. Don't know how many copies of this Chase there are likely to be on. Alright. We're going to Thoughtseize now, clear the way for Dark Petition next turn, and Pithing Needle this turn. Search for Azcanta. Alright. They're being very cagey with a lot of their plays. We did have an answer to that in Decay, so it's not something I'm, like, thrilled that I Thoughtseized, but at the same time, it's fine. Lost Legacy. I think we're supposed to cast Dark Petition here. Just got to get Seasons Past and then naturally draw land number 6. No, you drew... Did they draw Permission? No, they didn't. Okay. Okay. Or maybe they did, but they're holding it up for whatever we tutor, but... We're just going to try to jam Lost Legacy here. I guess on Dig Through Time. Summary Dismissal. Exile all other spells and counter all abilities. That's what's in their hand. So we get all the digs out of their deck. That's pretty huge. Things to look out for. Ashiok, Blast Zone. A Disallow. A couple pushes. 1 Gifted Aetherborn. Spice. Kalitas. Spice. Negate. Couple more Noxious Grasp. Couple more Sinister Sabotage. 2 more Gear Hulks. Those are scary. Alright. So Summary Dismissal in hand. Good to know about. So we can't just jam Seasons Past. But we can just jam this Dark Petition. See if it resolves, then decide what to do. If not, it's counterbait, which is fine. It'll resolve. Okay. We don't even have any more discard to get, which is very awkward. So I think we need to get another kind of like must counter spell, which might just be Tireless Tracker. Either that or we could get a draw 2 with Read the Bones. Just get a tracker, whatever. Ooh, I didn't look closely enough at all at their deck to see what I should have been naming with Needle. Blindly. And I would consider a blind name of Needle right now if I knew what I was doing. Yeah, that was not great. Okay, land number 6. This is good. Now we get to take action. We get to go tracker into land. If they counter it, they counter it. If not, we get to go on the tracker plan. So now they got 3 unknowns in hand, and we're just going to hope Seasons Past resolves. I guess. Please no permission. Please no... Oh no, they found more permission. Please, please, please. Well, that really just sucks now, doesn't it? Again, I kind of think we did everything we could. We didn't have... we had collective brutality probably to tutor for. Maybe I missed that. I still don't know if... It still was, like, perfectly legit to just say we're jamming it and forcing them to have drawn another piece of permission in the interim. Our position might still be fine here, to be perfectly honest. I'll top deck that. I'll decay this, and I will swing with the Quag. Torrential Gear Hulks are pretty scary here. Even if nothing else, just as a gigantic body. They got Field of Ruin, so Quagmire Adventure is about to come to an end. They know we scryed to the top, so they might field us right now. They're hitting Blast Zone. Very interesting. Kind of expected them to hit Quagmire, but whatever. Ugh. Drawing another basic is rough. Okay, so we have another Tireless Tracker to draw to. That's probably our best draw, assuming whatever we draw is going to resolve. Okay, they had a Fatal Push, so that makes sense. It's still a total top deck war. Come on, Tracker. Temple of Malady. Thought Distortion? I don't even know if we want that right now. I think we're bottoming it. Well, this last game's coming right down to the wire. It's been a very long league, guys. I hope you are still enjoying it. Ooh, they got a zone too? We don't like to see that. Oh, my God. Here comes the flood. I guess they're flooding too, right? I've seen a couple lists with like a second Seasons Past in them. This is the example of a matchup where it would be absolutely wonderful to have that. Okay. They're leaving zone on 3. Pretty smart from them. And both of us are just flooding like there is absolutely no tomorrow. Kind of an anticlimactic ending. But we're going to mill them out if it keeps up. That's all I can say. But they've got Gear Hulks to draw toward. Might be sitting on one, I don't know. Oh my goodness. Lands for about what would have been 4 turns straight. We thankfully bottomed that one. Oh my God. What is going on? Okay. Courser, sure. Opponent might suspect we've got a ton of action in hand, and this is like a way to bait out counter magic. No, not really. Not really. We're just kind of not up to much. I probably should have played a land here. I'm sandbagging them for the last tracker and our brutality as well. but we could have played one, gained a life, would have been fine. Opponent is super flooded. No mistake about that. They don't seem to want to shuffle away our trophy, but maybe they will on our upkeep or something, I don't know. Mastermind's Acquisition on the top, eh? Well, I bet that'll get shuffled away. Alright, let's belatedly gain a life, and then we're gonna try to smack you for 2. Wow, they've been slow rolling a draw 2. Very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. The mill condition grows ever more realistic. Did I say the mill win condition? I think I said mill condition, but I don't know. I'm kind of tired. I usually play these leagues right after work, so it's not like I'm totally fresh going in, and then if they're this long and it's an unfamiliar format, whew, it can be a little draining, my friends, but this one will come to an end soon enough, and it's super close, super tight, both decks kind of dudding. Is this a Languish? It's a Colitis. You got it? Is this going to be backed up by a Gear Hulk or something else terrifying? Or do they just have very little going on? They could Blast Zone for value if they have nothing else going on. And again, we wonder whether they want to field away our Mastermind's Acquisition on the top. Yeah, sure, zone it is. Okay, so we get to draw Mastermind's Acquisition. It's a little surprising. We're searching our library, because everything good should be in it. Ah, that would make sense why. I've got the disallow. Sure. Well, it is possible that we're going to lose to the zombie, but I'm not going to trophy it until we have to, because you just can't do that. They could much more easily kill us with a Gear Hulk if we do that. And we draw Quagmire, okay? It's a thing, kind of, sort of, not really. They've got field. Okay, here comes the Gear Hulk, so that's bad news, to say the least. I'm going to trophy before their draw 2. They've got more permission to. Alright, they actually have like a stacked hand. Okay, we're dead. What a terrible way to go. We just go to turn 23 in game 3 and flood like crazy. They had a window of, I believe, 1 turn to draw permission for our Seasons Past, and they did, and then we just flood out. And then it looked like we were both flooding out, but secretly they were just slow-rolling Gear Hulks. Kind of funny. Kind of funny. Well, there you go, guys. A league that started out extremely well and took a sharp nosedive when we got stuck on 2 lands for 5 turns, I believe, against Spirits, or I guess Bant Company more accurately. And then from there, just a couple of miserable control matchups where we did okay. I think we showed that the deck can hold its own, but you know how these come down to the top deck. And I think the blue-white control matchup's pretty rough. the blue-black one there is pretty winnable. We had every opportunity, just didn't quite get there. So, yeah, maybe, if I knew control was in the meta this much, the 75 would look a little bit different. But as it is, I think, the archetype still is unproven in the format. Maybe it's ultimately not going to be a top-tier strategy, even if people are really refining it. But I think it's a viable one. I think it's a fun one. And I think if you're looking for a green-black deck, I think Delirium and Rock are also kind of unproven. So this has a coherent plan. This has a powerful late game. And it does let you, not feel bad about having the potentially dead removal spells in your deck, because when it's good, it's really good, and if you draw the right half of the deck, you can still compete with the decks where removal isn't great, because, look, we lost to some control decks with, Grasp of Darkness and Fatal Push Rotting in Hand, but we could also have been drawing Thoughtseize, Collective Brutality, and Proactive Threats. And then we're 1-for-1ing them and maybe 2-for-1ing them, and then we're forcing through our Seasons Past, and then we get to buy back a bunch of good cards. And then we can beat control. So that's the way I see it anyway, but so not a great result, but a fine one, all things considered. Considering the matchups, considering some of the variants, I think we'll take it, right? I think we'll take it. So there you go, guys. That was our first foray into Pioneer League play in some time. And you'll have to let me know how your Pioneer gameplay has been going, whether it be with Dark Seasons or something else altogether. So, there you have it. Thank you once again to Christian Mayer, our newest confidant, our newest Patreon supporter, and thank you to everybody watching the content. I love all of you. The view count it kind of peaked before Pioneer came out, because I think everybody was just kind of watching Modern at that point. And then Pioneer came out, and then my view counts have gone down a little bit because people are all over the place with Pioneer and with Modern being a little bit less popular lately. So, to those of you who are watching the content, I do appreciate you. If you're supporting the content in any way you can, I appreciate you even more. So thanks again for watching. This was a long one. I hope it was enjoyable. It was never going to be anything but long with this deck in Pioneer, I guess. And I think we played at a decent enough clip, right? So thank you so much, and I look forward to your comments as always. I hope everybody out there has good fortune in their matches to come, and I will talk to you soon. Stay tuned, because we're going to continue covering spoilers, continue doing analysis, and continue maybe playing some more of this deck in the near future, but certainly lots of Modern in the near future as well. We gotta jam some Jund. We gotta jam some Plague Rock. We gotta play more Prowess. We got things to do. So stick around, guys, and I'll see you then.